Yo, yo, welcome y'all to the royal scene, where we talk the talk, keeping it serene. We the youth, in Christ we trust, in His love we ain't never gonna rust.
Youth for Christ, welcome to another episode of Royal Talks, where we cover issues and matters affecting the youth in and out of South Africa. Today we have a very special guest, Mr. TK, and we hope that you guys engage and enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello, everybody. I hope you all are good. Welcome to our Royal Talks. Today we are having a special guest. And by the way, before I forget, my name is Vanessa, and I'll be your host for the day. Anyways, with me, I'm having Brother TK, and I'm hoping that today we're going to settle all your questions today. How are you, Brother TK?
I'm blessed, thank you. And I'm very honored to be on your podcast today.
It is an honor to have you on our podcast too. We are very happy to have you here, sir.
No, thank you.
I can't hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah, you're so speaking so low.
No, I'm happy to see Brother TK on the podcast. It's a big deal, you know. There are people you should have on a podcast, and he's like one of them.
Yeah, the most important one, eh?
Now, I'm proud of the crew that's arranging all of this. They're doing very well.
And today's episode is none like any other. Today's topic, guys, it's mainly on education, nothing else.
Yes. Education is a key to success, to development, to growth, and many other aspects of life. Without being educated, you cannot move further and you cannot grow as an individual. Now we are focusing on education amongst the youth of South Africa and outside the country, of course. Mr. TK today is going to help us cover that aspect as being an educated Christian. You guys, tell us what you think about being an educated Christian. And don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe on all social media platforms. So, Mr. TK, please let us know and please tell us what do you think or how do you feel about education when it comes to the youth? What do you think about it? Like, because
what a way to kick it off.
yeah, because you know, because
No, I think firstly, it's quite important for the youth to be educated. I think education can be broken up into various aspects. I don't believe that education is only through school education. I think every day we learn. Education is about also empowering yourself, reading books, gaining knowledge on areas of your interest. If you are interested in business, gaining knowledge, educating yourself about business. And of course, we all have to go to school. We all have to go and acquire the skills that we need in order to be a success. So I believe that each and every young person have got an obligation to ensure that they educate themselves.
Yes. You've raised a very great point right there. Sorry, Vanessa. He's raised a very great point, which takes me back to the saying, learning is an ongoing process.
Yeah.
Like, it's ongoing. You keep on learning, it doesn't stop. So, V, education.
Actually, for me, I like the point that you raised that not everything that you're going to have in life, it's based on education, you understand? That's why God gave us many talents. Actually, let me just put it this way. I'm actually going to just cover everything up to a point that I believe that education is not only the way to success, you understand? That's why God gave us many talents. God can actually give you a talent. You can actually be blessed not only in the aspect of education, but you can actually make money somewhere else, not the only route to education.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm saying that not everything is about education. So don't be stereotyped to be like, oh, I have to go to school. Yeah, school is good. I'm not saying school is bad. But honestly, I'm not saying that school is bad. But I'm saying, if you know that you are talented somewhere else and you have like a good skill somewhere else, go for it.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, Vanessa, just to bring in a spin there. Say, for example, you are a soccer player, right? You are talented in soccer.
Yeah.
You are playing for maybe one of the biggest teams.
Man City, please.
Right? And then I'm also a Man City fan. So, and then you break your leg. Someone kick you, and then you break your leg.
Yeah.
It means you no longer have that talent or that skill that can allow you to make a living for yourself, for your family, and make meaningful contributions to society. So it's always important that you go to school and at least learn something related to that. To your talent. there's sports management, there's many other aspects that are related
Yes.
to
Equip yourself.
to many talents that are out there. So it's always important to learn it so that in future, if you are not able to exercise your talent, then you have something to fall back on.
Can I actually add on that? I'm not saying education is bad. Follow your dreams and follow your talents as well. But as you follow your talents, always have a backup, and your backup has to be education, you understand? Like Brother TK has said that, you know what, you can be pursuing something or pursuing your talent and does not make you to reach where you want to reach. You all know that, you know what, I have a backup to fall upon, and that will be education. So you should balance both your education and also balance your talent, because as you can see where the economy is going and where we are going, put business first, you know, like be business minded and also be education minded. Yeah, so balance all
Yeah.
aspects.
Yes, guys, focus on your education. You know, as a Christian, it's so sad to see so many youth don't know their Bible.
Yeah.
The Bible is a book I feel like we should learn to be educated on. You know, you should know scripture. You
Facts.
should know something. Like,
Facts.
you don't have to know everything, but equip yourself spiritually and have the logic when it comes to the Bible. Mr. TK, what's your take on educated Christians? Like, do you feel like when it comes to knowing the Bible, it's only for the pastor or maybe the youth, or is it focused on certain individuals, or should everyone be educated when it comes to the Bible?
Okay, the Bible is the book of life, right? And if you look at John 1, it speaks about that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it also further says that nothing was created without that Word. So that means if we want to be successful Christians, I mean, as a young Christian, you've got aspirations, you've got big dreams.
Yes.
You're dreaming of driving Range Rovers, you're dreaming of staying in mansions and making meaningful contributions to your community, to your family, to your society. I think the first point of departure, you need to know the book of life, because that's the main book that will guide you on every aspect of life. So I would say that as a young Christian, it's important, firstly, to be educated on the things of God.
Yes.
That means to learn the things of God.
Yes.
Because the Bible also says that my people perish because of lack of knowledge. So if you do not have knowledge of God, then automatically you are already set up for failure. Secondly, you have to be educated in terms of your school. Obviously, you have to go to school. You have to educate yourself. And then, of course, the topic we're talking about, there are those that are gifted, like maybe in arts, in sports. Those people, of course, they are careers that are aligned to that. But I'm a firm believer that you also need to be educated around that particular career. Have something, know something. Even in business today, there are many aspects that you have to learn about business. So education in general is in everything that you do. Have information, have the knowledge of how to do things.
That's very interesting, because in our time, you know, it's very hard as a very young individual. I'm young. I don't know about, but I'm young. So, you know, in a time like this, it's very hard to say I'm an educated Christian, because it's one thing to know God and say you understand Him, but with the book of life, rather, would you say you're equipped and have the full understanding of God? That's why I always ask these type of questions. And I'm going to take us to another topic again, because when it comes to academics, everyone is quick to grab a book and say, I know this, I know that, or I'm studying this, I'm studying that. And Mr. TK raised a good point. He said, if you do not know God, you are bound to perish.
Period.
So now I'm going to say, how can I as an individual, or let me just say the youth rather, involve God in my academics and allow Him to be in charge and take control of what I'm experiencing and what I'm going through? What are measures I can take, or what can I do?
Okay. First point I would say is at our church, right, ROV, we have what we call the Daily Victory, right? So that's a daily book of it's like a devotional book that you must study on a daily basis. So that means that each day when you wake up with that book, right? Each day when you wake up, you make affirmations. I'm the head and I'm not the tail. I understand my schoolwork. So you start speaking positivity around your schoolwork. You start commanding your day. That's the first point of departure. And you ask God for the wisdom for the knowledge, for you to be able to understand the academic content that you will be studying. So everything starts from the spiritual realm and then it manifests in the physical realm. So if you just focus on studying your book, there are times when you'll go and write exam and you forget what you actually studied.
Yeah,
So it's
that's true,
actually
yes.
important that you put God first. So by putting God first doesn't mean that you mustn't study. Because there are people
Yeah.
who actually pray,
But
Yeah.
don't put the effort.
and then they don't study
Yes,
anything. And they
yes.
get there, they say, God, show me the exam
Show me
paper."
miracles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying put God first, pray each day, ask for guidance, ask for direction, ask for wisdom, ask for protection, and above all, ask for understanding. And then when you study, you will find that, oh, now I'm starting to understand these things.
Yeah.
So that's how I think you should align Christianity with your academics.
Academics.
Bring God before you study, thank God after you study,
Yeah.
and just make it like that.
Okay.
You know, while you're still on that note, I love what you just said that the Bible says that you should not lean on your understanding, but the Bible also says that faith without action is dead. You cannot expect, I know as a youth, I used to do that as well, to be like, you know what, I won't study. Or just immediately when I get in the exam room, I'll be like, oh God, you know what, you're the God that comes through, you understand? And that's not always the way to go, guys. The Bible says that seek the kingdom of God first and everything shall be added unto you. Ask for knowledge from God, and everything that you do, you should involve him and put him first. And moreover, in your education and in everything that you do, and everything will be a success. Yeah.
You know, you
That's what I
like
would
to
say.
preach. You every time you come on this podcast, you like to preach.
It's all about God.
We'll have to replace
Come
you if you
on.
come here and start preaching. We
It's all
get that
about
every
God.
week. If you're gonna
it's
start
all about-
preaching, we'll replace you. We'll get
Pastor.
okay, guys. So we've very good points raised by Vanessa and Mr. TK as well. I like what you just mentioned right now. You can't do anything without God.
Yeah.
And wait, did we talk about the Youth for Christ event? Did we mention that? How was it for you, Mr. TK? You know, Mr. TK was at the Youth for Christ
Yay.
event, guys. Guys, Mr. TK was one of our event organizers. You know, we had a very good,
A powerful one as
a
well.
very powerful event in June, just 2 months ago, I think. And Mr. TK was one of our event organizers. How did you feel about it, Mr. TK? You didn't tell us.
Hey, I felt young there. It was a nice event. I think it's quite important that as youth that have found God, that we go out of our way to make sure that we bring the other youth to God.
Amen.
Because today we live in a world that is highly influenced by social media, highly influenced by friends. There's so much peer pressure going on in
Yeah.
schools. So it's important that we make God fashionable. And I think Youth for Christ is doing that, is doing it in a great way to make God fashionable. God is the only way. There is no other way besides God.
Do you look... Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so we need to constantly ensure that the youth know God and we bring them to God. But they need to be happy in the presence of God. We need to do activities, events that are aligned to the young people. And I feel that Youth for Christ achieved that through that particular event.
Yes.
Round of applause for us, please.
Yes.
Can you rate the event from 1 to 10? Can you just give us a rating?
Hey. No, I would say 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Period.
10
Another
out
round
of
of applause, please.
Yeah, we are doing well, guys. You know, shout out to the Youth for Christ for that event. It was a very great time in the presence of God. So I also noticed that during that time we had a couple of first years, a lot of first years when we did the evangelism with the executives. There were a lot of
Yeah.
first years that came. And how is it being like, how do you take it? Like, how do you feel about first years finding Christ? Because these people are from different backgrounds. They are from different places. You don't know these people. One, you're presenting a religion, a God, and you're trying to make sure that they can take it and embrace him for who he is, because he's unfailing. How do you think, in that manner, in that aspect, how do you think we achieved and did when it comes to presenting God to first years or people who don't even know God?
Okay, thanks for that question. I think, firstly, it's important for God to be everywhere. By God being everywhere, I mean that in schools there must be God, In varsities, there must be God. Everywhere, there must be God. And we achieve that through evangelism, through preaching, through events like the one that you hosted. I feel that first years are one of the most vulnerable groups. And I will tell you why. Most of the first years come from rural areas. Okay, I will talk in terms of Johannesburg
Yeah.
as an urban city. Most of the first years come from rural areas. Some come from other countries in Africa. Some come from places where they've never seen a street robot. They've never seen a tall building, especially those that are coming from deep rural areas where they still don't have internet, they still don't have lights, they don't have street robots or street lights. When they come here, this is a very different setup because Johannesburg is like an urban city. So when they come here, some of them have never seen these things. They've never seen a big mall. They've never seen the bars. The city of Joburg is a buzz. It's so busy. So they've never stayed alone. So first of all, they'll be expected to stay alone at rest. Some of them will be expected to cook for themselves. Some of them will be expected to go shopping for themselves, to have their own routine, timetable of what to do, when and at what time. So that's why I say they are the most vulnerable group.
Yeah.
So it's very, very, very crucial that you have a structure such as Youth for Christ engaging in that particular space to ensure that these first years do not lose their identity, and they actually get mentorship and guidance to adapt and to become successful. There's so many bad and evil things that are happening in the university space, but you need Youth for Christ and such like structures to be involved. So I think you guys have done a great job by evangelizing to this particular grouping of students to make sure that they know God, because some of them do know God. But
Yeah.
when they come here, they get influenced
Yeah.
and they sort of abandoned what their parents have taught them. So it's important that you have structures such as Youth for Christ. And I'm told you guys are also registered at UJ and you'll also be registered at VETS.
At VETS.
So that's very good because you
Yes.
need such structures to be able to influence this kind of youth to God, to guide them, to lead them, to help them to find their identity and their purpose.
Yeah.
So what you guys have done, I think, it's a great work. But I think there's still more to be done. There's still more youth that you need to reach within that particular space.
You know, while you're on that aspect, I like to shout out to the people who are first years or who want to be in that path too, like universities. If you know that you are a lost sheep and you know that your background is Christianity, but now you're influenced by the Joburg life, go back to Christ.
You have
know.
backslided. If you know that you have
if you know that you've
backslided,
backslided,
let's say it like Rev.
God's hands are always open for you. Go back to your Creator.
Yeah.
And can I just take you back, just to university life and also like high school life? How do you know that as a certain individual, I'm actually making the right choices in terms of career-wise? How do I know that I'm making a right decision in terms of career?
No. Yeah, that's a wonderful question. Because I've been in student leadership before, in both high school and varsity. And to my surprise, one day when I was in varsity, first years after they get their matric certificates, they would come. And then someone comes and say, I want to be a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
And then you tell them, there's no space. They'll say, no, anything, even hospitality, even logistics. And when I look at those careers, they are far apart.
Separated from
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, so I think it's very much important that you take a career that you have a passion for, because that's something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. So you have to do something that you love. You
Yeah.
have to do something that you
you're
love,
passionate about.
something that you are strong in. Do research. Do research about the career that you want to follow. For me, I wanted to be an accountant because I love money. So that's what I wanted to be, right? So I followed that path. So someone has to know their strength, what they love. You can't want to be an accountant, but you don't love maths, you don't love numbers.
Yeah.
So you have to go for your strength.
Know
If you
your
want to be a
strengths.
lawyer, of course, you must be good in English, you must be fluent in speaking, confident, you must love to read, because there's a
Yeah.
lot of documents to study. So I think the youth have to ensure that they do research on their career. Most importantly, the youth unemployment rate is very high.
Hey, let's talk about that one, eh?
Is very, very high. So it's important that you choose a career where there are job opportunities. Don't take a career that is not fashionable in today's world.
Yeah.
I mean, today's world is influenced by technology, by IT, fourth industrial revolution. So you need to
Yes.
take careers that are aligned to that, careers where you'll be able to find employment. Otherwise, you'll also be part of the statistics of the unemployed youth. So when you choose a career, you look at all those things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you then go and apply for varsity. While you are still in matric, you must apply. Some apply while they're in grade 11. Don't come after you get your matric results because you won't find space. So it's important. You also check the requirements from the university. What are the entry requirements? So if you want to be a lawyer, go and study what are the entry requirements for law. Because then it will guide you on how you must perform in matric, on which subjects you must pay more attention to. So that's all I can say about careers. But maybe the last point is that don't compromise. If you didn't make it, look for an alternative university, or maybe go and upgrade your marks. Like I said, your career is what you will be for the rest of your life. So you
Yeah.
need to enjoy it and love it.
Those are
Such a
such,
powerful-
sorry V, wonderful words. I just have a question for you, Brother TK. What happens then if I find myself in a position whereby I'm funded, but I still don't know which career path to take, or what I would like to study? It's full, as you're saying, because I applied late. Then I'm like, let me just take anything just because I'm funded. Like, do you think that is a good thing to do? Or do you think you should just let the funding go and wait for the next application season so that you apply what you want to apply for?
Okay, that's a great question. Right? Of course, we live in a country where many people cannot afford to pay for their fees. That's why you have funds like NSFAS and many other bursaries. Those bursaries, they assist learners and students to be able to afford to go to university. University is quite expensive, right? And I think, just to answer that question, I would say that while you are in matric, you passed grade 11, you are in matric, do research on the career you want. Look at various universities where you're going to apply and their requirements. Study hard, study smart. When I was in matric, my teacher used to say to us, it's either you suffer for these 6 months in matric and enjoy the rest of your life, or you enjoy your matric and suffer the rest of your life. So I would say suffer that year of matric and make sure that your results are very good. Because now most universities accept you based on the highest result. So it's no longer about you applied first. You can apply first, but if there's someone who performed better than you, they're going to give that person your space. So you have to make sure that you study hard and smart and make sure that you do everything possible. That includes watching YouTube videos, going for extra tutorials, and many other platforms that are available to help you to pass matric. If you have passed matric and you go to varsity and the option that you want is not available, right? So when you apply, they usually give you 3 options for you to choose, option A, B, C. Just make sure that all of them is something that you like, right? So if what you want to study, you don't get it, now I would advise you to look at other institutions or to go and upgrade your marks.
Mm.
Because like I said, it's about your passion. It's your passion that will allow you to endure the difficult courses that you'll face. It's your passion that will allow you to have sleepless nights studying. It's your passion that will allow you to overcome all the challenges that you're going to face while you're studying.
Yes.
It's your passion that will allow you to wake up each and every morning to go to work once you're qualified.
Yes.
So now I believe that if it means you must take a gap year and go and upgrade your marks, do that so that you can study what you love and do what you love. Because after all, if you are doing what you love, it means you'll be an expert in that. So that's my...
Yeah, I hear you, Mr. TK. But like, when you speak about passion, you know, there's a lot of things that influence passion. It can promote it, it can demote it. And you know, when it comes to, there are a lot of things that demote passion. There's a lot of things that kill goal-driven people, because the person you are when you're in grade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to grade
Completely
7
different.
changes when they enter high
Yeah.
school. And it's because of the people they meet. Usually it's because of the people they meet, their peers. So now I'm going to surround myself around friends and people who are not goal-driven like me, who don't share the same passion as me, or who are just a horrible influence on what I can become tomorrow. How do I now, as an individual, say, this is what I want and I'm going to grab it without the influence of my friends? Because I'll use me as an example. I'm surrounded by a lot of bad friends. I am surrounded by a lot of bad friends. A lot of bad friends, like a very...
Now your friends know they're bad.
And no, they know. They know. They know. So now, if I am to now, if what they want for their future is not aligned with what I want, and we don't share that type of relationship where we can be open and be like, man, this is not right for you. This is right for you. It's like I'm dictating what's right and what's wrong for them. But at the same time, how can I keep that type of relationship with someone who's not sharing the same passion, drive, and goals with me? Like, how do I still maintain that?
Starting point, you have one life. Your mother carried you in the womb for 9 months plus. Not for you to be a waste,
Period.
but for you to make meaningful contributions to your family and to your community. Why I'm starting here, there's this perception amongst the youth that I'm still young, I can afford to play around,
Ish.
I can afford to do this and that. But in that process, you are destroying yourself. And you might never be able to come out of the mess that you might land yourself in.
Yes. Yes.
I'm a firm believer that the people you surround yourself with, they somehow, some way influence who you become.
Yeah.
They somehow, some way influence your decisions. I'll give you an example. Say I'm a recovering addict. If I spend my time with people who are still living that life that I'm trying to walk away from, the chances of me going back to what I've walked away from are very high. But if I surround myself with people that are living the life that I desire to live or that I desire to be, there are very high possibilities that I am going to become what those people are. So my simple answer to you is, I'm not saying that we must hate on people that are not believers, but I believe that if they are influencing you to abandon your Christian values or your values in general as a person, then they are not good for you. Because remember, we are the light and the salt of the world. That means that we must influence them to God. So if we are failing to influence them to God and they are influencing us to the world,
Ish.
then that means
It's a
we must
problem.
walk away from them.
Fact.
So I believe that who you associate yourself with, there's 90% plus chances that you're going to become that.
Yeah.
That's why if you check people who try out things that they've never done before that are ungodly, 99.9% is because of the people that they surrounded themselves with. So with you, Uche, I would say that.
I need to change.
No.
I need to
That's not
change.
what I'm
The circle
saying.
needs to change, guys.
As Christians, we have an obligation to win over people in the world to God.
Yes.
Pray for them. Invite them to church services. Invite them to YFC
Conference,
programs
yeah.
that will be appealing to them. I know in those YFC programs, you have nice artists that are popular that are coming. You have nice games. I was surprised the other time I came to a YFC program and I was playing FIFA. So it was nice. So invite them through those things that they love
Yeah.
and preach to them the gospel. But if they are preaching to you the gospel of the world,
Something
then
is
you're in
wrong.
trouble, because it's only a matter of time before you fall for that. So who you associate yourself with, you become. That's why personally in my life, I've got mentors for everything. I've got mentors for my marriage, people that I follow, people that I learn from, people who are aligned to my values. I've got mentors for business, for my career, because I need someone greater than me to follow. So, and I have, in fact, there's a time in my life where I had to remove all my friends. Remove all my friends. Why? Because I had to build the character of God in me. So my answer to you, Uche, is that if you know that they are bad friends, then you are not supposed to be with them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't try to be Jesus on them. Please.
Yes. I know. I'm not the Messiah.
Yeah, don't be the Messiah. Just to cover this up and wrap it up, I don't think that, like, I love the conversation. I loved everything, and I hope the viewers also gonna enjoy this. Brother TK, I also have one question for you, which is not everybody is blessed in this aspect of education, right? And I heard that you mentioned that unemployment rate is on another level, and people are in the universities. They're busy changing careers, just because they're not sure if the career that they made is right. So my question is that, what do you have to say about people who are not university driven in terms of school? Their passion is not on education, but their passion is on talents, because not everybody made it to universities, and as you can check where our economy is going, you can see that not everything these days is based on education. You understand? Not everything. Education is not the only way that you're gonna make money. You understand? And we got people right now who are paying to get jobs, who are paying to get universities. We also have people in the industries who don't wanna leave their jobs, in terms of they're old now. So what do you have to say about people who wanna follow the path of following their dreams in terms of businesses? They're not into education, but they're more smart in terms of businesses.
Yes.
Not education wise. Yes.
Like I said when I opened, in my opening remarks, I don't believe that education should only be limited to going to school, going to university. There are people that are very gifted in terms of cooking, right?
Yes.
Equip yourself with the knowledge around that aspect. Equip yourself with the knowledge that you need in order to be a success in that aspect.
Period.
Go to school, finish your matric. There's colleges that can teach you the various aspects around food preparation, the various aspects around food storage. So you need to learn. So you can you don't necessarily have to go to university. In fact, today you can even learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
You can even learn online. You can do a full course online without even touching the doorstep of, without even passing through the doorstep of a varsity. So
True.
there's many sources available for you to learn. So if you feel that I don't want to go to university, that's okay. But go and learn and advance your skills around your talent or around that which you feel that God has gifted you with. But like I said, you only have one life, so you can't afford to make blunders that you can't
Fix again.
So you have to make sure that if you are taking a path of being a sportsman, for example, today I know soccer players that are enrolling at university to study something. Why? Because once their career is finished, they need to have a source of income.
Right.
So you need to always study and have something around the field that you love in order for you to be the best in that field. So go and read books about those things. Go and study. Studying doesn't mean getting a degree. You can get a certificate.
Yes.
You can get a diploma. So you can go and study something around that which you are strong in. So I believe there are many successful people who never went to school. So that's why I'm saying we must never limit education
Yes.
or success to school. But we must not be reckless
Yes.
as influencers of the youth to advise the youth not to go,
Not
to,
to go
school.
to school.
They must go to school, they must go and learn something. If
Yes.
they are good in music, they must go and learn something related to music.
Music, yes.
Go and learn a course around music, composing, producing.
Yes.
There's music schools, there's acting schools, there's art schools, there's many schools. There's culinary schools, there's military schools. So there's schools for everything. So go and learn around that talent. So don't use the fact that I know
talented.
Mang, that guy never went to school, he's a
Yeah.
billionaire today.
Yay.
And then when you don't want to go to school. No. Go to school and study something around your strength. If you love music, go and study music.
Perfect.
Know music inside out so that you can survive. If you love videography, go and study videography and know something and have a qualification in videography. So that's something you love.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. TK. Guys, just as Mr. TK has said, equip your talents, back them up with education, back up your passion with education. You can't do anything with just talents alone. You need to have the knowledge, the logic, and the understanding. We've come to an end of our show, and I hope you guys got an opportunity to grab all the wisdom you need in this episode. Like I said, we're going to dive into questions and cover aspects that will help us as the youth in and outside of South Africa. See you again on the next episode. This is me signing out.